almost made it to the end. 2020, the year of disruption, coming up now. Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome to the channel AskMeStartup, where we talk about startups and small businesses and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell. So, what a crazy year, right? 2020? We have seen a lot of crazy things this year. I mean, we've seen lockdowns, we've seen a pandemic killing businesses, getting rid of jobs, we've seen incompetent and crazy governments, and we've seen good governments. What I mean by this? So some governments, are still not able to get the pandemic under control, and I'm talking about specifically Switzerland, where they feature economy over human lives. They've been so crazy about it. The US, all European countries. Then there have been good ones like Korea, Singapore, China, I'm not so sure because, they lie a lot. And Japan. These countries, Australia, New Zealand, these are done perfectly well. And what's the difference? They've had harsh lockdowns. They've been tracing down people for only a month or two because they have been very strict. Now everybody can go back to business as normal and their economies are thriving. Look at all the other countries. They're suffering and people are fed up. But why is it important to you? Well, I'm going to tell you right now after you smash the like button, because only if you smash the like button, YouTube will inform other people about this video, because I think it's important to a lot of them. So let's take a deeper look into what has changed, which industry have been affected badly this year and which are gone forever, and where you most likely will find better opportunities in the future. Now, I know many of you have lost your job, but I urge you to rethink your situation and look at industries that are going to thrive in the future. And I'm not talking about just tech, everybody's talking about tech, but la. Yes, they have had a very good run now, but is that going to be forever? I don't think so. There will be times when the tech industry is going to be in big trouble. Don't know when, we don't know why, but it's going to happen. However, some things that we were used to will change forever. And yet we have to understand those, and we have to understand what they could mean for us in the future. So the first thing and the first job that a lot of people will now be able to do is a contact tracer. This hasn't been available prior to the pandemic, but it's going to be there for a long time. Even if we have the vaccination, people need to be able to trace down where an infection has come from. Why? Because we're not yet sure if the vaccination is just preventing myself from getting the disease, but it's not sure whether it prevents from spreading the disease. Crazy stuff. It's going to be a job that's going to be there for at least 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Easy. The next thing, a disinfection specialist. Now, disinfection specialists are going to be in huge demand because people are still not sure how and where the virus is. And we know that the virus mutates, what means actually that it's going to be more dangerous in the future. Hence, people have to take more care about potential surfaces that humans touch, that they're not contaminated. And I'm talking about, airports, restaurants, offices, public transport, homes, anywhere, schools, anywhere where a lot of people meet or a lot of people pass by during the day. People will have to get a very good and thorough disinfection of those surfaces and areas. Hence, this is going to be a great and big job opportunity for you, or a business opportunity, right? Then another type of industry that I think is going to thrive next year is air disinfectants. We will not be able to open the windows to have fresh air all the time in cold winter conditions. It's not going to happen. Hence, air disinfectants by UVB light, for instance, are going to be a big business in the future. So, and since this is not really rocket science, you can make a business out of it. Just get some UV bulbs, figure out a way how to pass enough air through that UV filter, and boom, you've disinfected a lot of air and you're enabling a lot of people to stay healthy and safe in any environment. Could be a theater, could be a cinema, could be a schoolroom, no matter what. Now, we're going to see new services to home office. We have seen a lot of growth of ghost kitchens. People that used to deliver for canteens are now delivering for homes. Why? Home office is there forever. It's gonna stay. Prior pandemic, we only had 5% of people working in home office. Now we have up to 40%. Now let's assume the pandemic goes away and the vaccination will do its job and people might return. They will return? Yes, for sure. But they will not return to the past, they return to today, which means maybe we're going to see 15 to 20% of home office still available throughout the day. That of course means that there will be businesses taking care of those people in the home office. And that's your chance now, because it hasn't started. Work on a plan, deliver food, deliver services like pets, bring the pets for a walk, take care of babysitting, take care of homework for kids. Think of something that it makes sense in your area, in your country. You will find some great opportunities now, right now, but you have to start, you have to get moving. Now, one industry that has had a major crash, the movie industry. And you go like, wait a minute, Disney has done great with its movies, right? Netflix seen the best year ever. You're right, but cinemas are dead. Cinemas now, and I think Disney put the final nail in the coffin, are dead forever. Yeah, we might see some cinemas coming back up, but since these big movie industry companies have now enabled streaming as their first platform to distribute new movies to people, what do they need cinemas for? They just pay them extra for what? Cinemas are expensive to run, they're in city locations, and you might get or sit close to people you don't like, who smell bad, who have a bad habit during the cinema experience. Hence, one way or the others, over long term, cinemas are going to die. What does it mean for you? Well, you as a consumer, of course, can switch over to streaming services, but you could also think of ways to have reuse the cinemas in a way that makes sense. For instance, as a showcase room for educational purposes or for streaming services. You never know. Just think through it. It might be a big change ahead, and this industry is changing forever. The next big change that 2020 has brought is the exodus from large cities. New York itself has seen a 30% decrease in rents. Asking rents. Never happened before. Why? Because people leaving the city. If they can't have theaters, if they can't have restaurants, if they can't have sports, why should they pay a premium to stay downtown? Home office also forced people to have more space. They need an office. They need space where they can walk around, and if there's going to be another lockdown, where they feel comfortable and pleasurable to be at that location. Does that mean that big cities will not attract people in the future? For sure not. But we're going to see a shift in demand in real estate, meaning people will have a demand for better organized flats than they used to in the past. This is going to happen. Just watch it. The next big change is in personal finance. Now, many people were forced to stay at home, so they couldn't spend their money on shopping, on vacation, and on other pleasurable things, whatever it was. And now they happen to realize, hey man, wait a minute, I can live without those things. What does that imply? Well, it implies that a lot of industries are going to suffer in the future because people have realized that they can live without those things. It's going to take a long time. It's good for our pocket. And for those people who have been hit hard or the hardest by losing a job, by not having any payments anymore, by not having any finances anymore, really struggling bad, those people engrave that feeling into their soul. And what that means is they will not let go of this feeling for the rest of their life, which means also that the next time they have money, they will be thinking twice, 3 times, 4 times. Ask carefully where to spend their money and why. That, of course, has big impacts on all industries that are trying to sell to any consumer. That, on the other hand, will have good job and company and startup opportunities in the future, because if you're able to provide a service to those people by increasing their net worth, by increasing their savings rates, man, you're on to something big. The next thing that's going to change massively is grocery shopping. First of all, I hate queuing up in lines in front of a grocery shop. I'm sure you do too. So do many other people. They don't know if the guy coughing next to you is, infected or might be carrying a disease you do not want to get. Hence, they ordered online. I mean, this has been a trend already, but it has been, brutally enforced this year. In Switzerland, for instance, grocery shopping through the internet went up by 40%. 40% in 1 year. Do you think all of those people that went for online shopping will return to the grocery shops in the future? For sure not. If they like what they got, they're going to do this forever. Which also means that there are big job opportunities for you, because who's going to deliver the food to them? It's not only going to be FedEx and UPS and all the other guys. No. If you're like, for instance, offering a, same-day delivery service in your town, in your area, that might be the thing to do. Currently in Switzerland, there are not enough transportation vehicles. So people are looking to buy more, and there's more and more new companies delivering pickup or delivery services. This is going to be a big market, and you might not survive forever and you might be bought up one day, but this is going to be a big opportunity for you in the future. The next big change, and that is more for, let's say medical people, that is telehealth. People are not going to the doctor anymore. I mean, in Europe, it's crazy. You go there, you sit there 3 hours sometimes in Germany, with 20 other people who are sick like hell, and you just, please, I want to have my appointment with the doctor. And then after some time, you're going to get there and you get your diagnosis, your medication, you go home. It's going to skip forever. It's going to be all via digital means. I mean, video conferencing, digital health services, whatever it is. People are not going to visit the doctor unless they really have to do a physical exam of the person. That, of course, means that there's going to be big opportunities for those people who are able to pull off the software and the data safety for those, delicate information. And last but not least, the travel industry. I mean, travel industry has been hit the hardest. Hotels are closing down, people are losing their jobs or lost their jobs. Many countries suffering. I mean, I'm talking about all the Mediterranean countries. I'm talking about all those travel heavy destinations. Even if they're open, people not going there because they're afraid to get, infected by a disease they don't want. And the airline industry. The airline industry will be hit at the hardest, and they will have the most changes ever seen in our lifetime. Why? Well, travel industry for pleasure tourism, pure tourism, might return once people, have jobs again, and once they have a stable income. People still want to go out. That's a need. People want to visit other places. But the biggest pie for the airline industry has been the business traveler. They're not there anymore. Yes, there might be a few travels here and there, but reality is people expect 50 to 70% off decrease in business travels over the next 5 to 10 years. Why? Well, very simple. We know that Zoom works. We know that Microsoft Teams work. We know that all those video conferencing tool works, and we get the things done the same way, maybe even more efficiently, and we're not tired, and we're not wasting, money, and we're not polluting the environment as much. Hence, the airline industry is going to be terribly hit, but travel is going to come back, and you should think of ways to attract tourists in the future. Maybe tourists that are more sensitive. They might want to have a more exclusive ambiance where they're not up with masses of people, where they're not likely to get affected, where they have better services. Think of this. All right, everybody, thank you for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for smashing the like button, and thank you for dropping a comment on something that you've seen that will change forever. I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'm gonna see you next year.